Welcome back, MTG Burgeoning community and YouTube viewing audience. If you are part of the latter and wish to join the former, click that subscribe button now, and in so doing, you will become eligible for a bevy of subscriber rewards series. In today's video, after a 2-week absence, we are back with Sunday Fun Day as we build around our favorite Sunday commander, Morophon the Boundless. That is right, MTG Burgeonites. We are back with Morophon the Boundless. We are going to continue building around Morophon. It's Sunday Fun Day. It's all things Morophon all day long. If you missed any of the previous installments of this series, you can click on any of the links below to get you caught up to where we are right now. We're going to take a brief review of the cards we've already included in this deck, and we are building Morophon the Boundless with a Human Legends theme. And the cards included so far are as follows: Urza's Incubator, Herald's Horn, Vanquisher's Banner, Distant Melody, Kindred Discovery, Kindred Summons, Door of Destinies, Icon of Ancestry, Cathar's Crusade, Lifecrafter's Bestiary, Mass Appeal, Angel of Glory's Rise, Alicia, Who Smiles at Death, Azusa, Lost But Seeking, Brea, Ethereum Shaper, Bruce Tarl, Borwish Herder, Captain Sisse, Daxis of Meletus, Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, Hannah, Ship's Navigator, Hepetra, Vizier of Poisons. We're just going to put her off to the side for a moment. Joyra, Weatherlight Captain, Jirina Kudro, Judith, the Scourge Diva, Kari Zev, Skyship Raider. We're going to put her to the side. Kelsey and the Plague, Kess, Dissident Mage. We're going to put her to the side. Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, Marchesa the Black Rose, Wrath Capuchin, Ship's Mage, Saskia the Unyielding, Sen Triplets, Shana, Sisse's Legacy. We're going to put her to the side. Silas Wren, Seeker Adept, Sisse, Weatherlight Captain, Surrak Dragonclaw, Sidri, Galvanic Genius, Tigum, Ojutai Master. We're going to put him aside to the moment. Tajik, Blade of the Legion. Tajik, Legion's End. So we got double Tajik, baby. So are you ready for some double mint gum? Thalia, Heretic Cathar. Triad of Fates. Timna the Weaver. And Yasova Dragonclaw. So let's just assume that all cards that are over to the left of Morophon on your viewing screen are the ones that are going to remain. These 5, well, we'll come back to those as we introduce the next set of cards that are going to be included into this deck. Excuse me. Okay, excuse me there for a second. So this next set of cards, this next dozen cards that was going to be included into this series, or into this video of the series, we were focusing on a legendary theme. We had all of our legendary humans, and we had the cards that are going to support the tribe in the first 12. Then we introduced a bunch of legendary humans, and now we want to continue with that legendary theme by including a bunch of cards that are going to be either focused on the legendary theme or the human theme. So we had like a legendary human focus, and these cards hopefully are going to help to bring that synergy together. And the first card is going to be Hero's Podium. It's a legendary artifact. That's fantastic. Costs 5. And each legendary creature we control gets +1/+1 for each other legendary creature we control. So this is like a personalized coat of arms for legendary creatures. It doesn't do anything for our opponent's creatures, and so far we have a massive stack of legendary humans in this deck. But that's not all. We can tap X and we can turn Hero's Podium sideways and look at the top X cards of our library. And we may reveal a legendary creature card from among them and put it into our hand, put the rest on the bottom of our library in a random order. So we can buff our human creatures, our human legends that are on the battlefield, and we can dig through our library to look for a creature to put into our hands, as long as it is a legendary creature. So Hero's Podium is card number 1. It helps with the legendary theme, and it really synergizes with our creatures out there. Next card up, speaking of legendary theme, we have Day of Destiny, legendary enchantment. 3 and a white from the Kamigawa block. Legendary creatures we control get +2/+2. Not much more to say about that. Just buffing up our legendary humans. Alright, card number 3. A walking Day of Destiny. We have Arvad the Cursed. We have 3 white and a black for a legendary vampire knight. 3/3 Death Touch lifelink, and other legendary creatures we control get +2/+2. Now we have to take a moment to address the elephant in the room, and that is the 3 generic casting cost of Arvad the Cursed. Because if you remember the videos previous in this series, when we were putting together our list of legendary humans, when we were putting together our list of humans prior to proclaiming that this was going to be a legendary focused deck, we put in some limitations that the casting cost of any of the humans to be included in this deck needed to be generic mana 2 or less. 2 or less. Well, Arvad the Cursed is going to lean towards legendary support. So that's how we're going to dance around that little loophole, okay, folks? He gives other legendary creatures we control +2/+2. So with this and Day of Destiny in play, any one of our legendary creatures are getting +4/+4. That is good legendary support. Next up, we have an oft overlooked but very powerful equipment, a legendary equipment from the Kamigawa block, and that's Konda's Banner. It costs 2 to cast, 2 to equip. It can only be attached to a legendary creature. Score for us, right? Creatures that share a color with equipped creature get +1/+1. And creatures that share a creature type with equipped creature gets +1/+1. So imagine all of our creature, the majority of the creatures in our deck are all humans. So they're all going to get a buff when Konda's Banner is attached to a legendary human. Additionally, we have quite a number of humans in here that are 3 or 4 colors. So if we can put Konda's Banner on one of those creatures, they're going to get an additional +1/+1 buff. Very underlooked, very powerful in a tribal deck. Konda's Banner, excellent card. All right, so sidestepping the legendary theme just to focus on the human theme for a moment, we have Sanctuary Lockdown from Ikoria Lair of Behemoth. It's an enchantment that's 2 and 2 white, and it gives humans we control +1/+1, and we can tap 2 generic colorless mana, and we can tap 2 untapped humans we control to tap target creature and opponent controls. So this can help avoid creatures attacking us that we just don't want any part of in combat. We can end of turn tap down some potential blockers so that when we attack, we can get through the opponent's our opponent's life total undeterred. Sanctuary Lockdown, pretty sneaky good uncommon from Ikoria, and it fits our theme. It fits the theme of our deck pretty well. All right, so here we are at near the halfway point. I'm sorry, that is the halfway point. These are only 10 cards we're adding, not 12. My mistake, only 10. All right, I'll bring that back. That was an opening error made on the video. So we're at the halfway point, and the next 5 begin with General's Enforcer. A white and a black. I am just all over the place today. It's a 2/3 human soldier. It itself is not legendary, so we need to point that out. But it does give legendary humans we control indestructible. So there's that legendary human support where General Enforcer would not have been eligible during the earlier phases of this deck building process. Additionally, we can tap 2, a white and a black, and we can exile target card from a graveyard, and if it were a creature card, we can create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So General's Enforcer is in there for that legendary human support. Speaking of legendary, we have a legendary sorcery, Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Gotta love Dominaria and the implementation of these legendary sorceries. 5 and an Orzhov. We can only cast this if we control a legendary creature or planeswalker. For the purposes of this deck, that's just going to be legendary creatures because we are not going to be fitting any planeswalkers into this deck. We return all legendary permanent cards from our graveyard to the battlefield. So that would be all of our legendary humans, any of our legendary artifacts, our legendary enchantments, our legendary lands, of which there will be some. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, that's going to work for us. Alright, we're down to our bottom 3. And if you remember the first cards that were added to this deck, you will remember that there was Angel of Glory's Rise as a way in which to bring our humans from the graveyard back into play. Not human, not legendary, but important for the synergy of this deck. Well, from that angel to this angel, we have Sigarda, Heron's Grace. This mythic rare from, you know it baby, Shadows over Innistrad. 3 and a Selesny, it's a 4/5 flyer. We and humans we control have hexproof, so that gives us protection for our humans. And plus we can tap 2 generic or colorless mana, and we can exile a card from our graveyard to put a 1/1 white human soldier creature token onto the battlefield. With the number of human support cards already included in this deck, a way in which to get some more tokens that are humans, even though this is not a token-focused deck, it's a built-in bonus on the body of a 4/5 flyer. Sigarda, you at a place with us, baby. Speaking of things that are flying and could be potentially dangerous, all right, get ready for this one, folks, because we're going to have a little bit of explaining to do here. We have Shabraz, the Sky Shark. For 3 and an Azorius, it's a 3/3 legendary shark bird that so far has absolutely nothing to do with our human or legendary theme. It does have the partner with mechanic, but we are not including Bralin, the Sky Shark Rider. So it's a 3/3 flyer, and whenever we draw a card, we can put a +1/+1 counter on Shabraz, and we gain 1 life. Again, where is the human synergy? Well, last ability, we can tap a white or a blue, and target human gains flying until end of turn. The majority of our humans don't have a great deal of evasion, so having Shabraz in play allows us to, incremental life gain, and plus we can target some of our humans to give them flying, so we can soar over the potential ground blockers of our opponents and get in there for some important combat damage. So Shabraz is a little bit of a push here. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna see how it works. It's a little bit of a push. I get that, folks, but let's see how we do. And the last card to be included in this deck, card number 10, Kindred Dominance. 5 and double black, we choose a creature type, and then we destroy all creatures that aren't the chosen type. Of course, we will be most likely every time choosing humans. Alright, and that rounds out the 10 cards to be included that were legendary and or human focused. Now I'm sure you're wondering, why do we have this pile of 5 legendary humans stacked up over here? Well, here's the thing. Let's pull out Kess first, because we're going to explain what we're doing with these 5 creatures. Kess, Dissident Mage, she's pretty good. 1 and a Grixis for a 3/4 flyer. She's pretty good in a deck that's centered around instant and sorcery spells. That is not what we are. We are not a deck that is strong with sorceries. We are not a deck that is strong with instants. We are a deck that's strong with humans, support for humans in the form of artifacts and enchantments. So Kess is taking a valuable spot, and she's going to get the boot. So Kess is out because she's just not strong enough. taking Kess's spot, as it was pointed out by some MTG Burgeoning subscribers, we are reintroducing Joda, Archmage Eternal, 1 in a Jeskai for a 4/3 flyer. We may pay white, blue, black, red, green rather than pay the mana cost for spells that we cast. I had failed to realize, and if we pull Joda down a little bit, and we look at his synergy with Morophon out there, if Morophon's in play, then spells of our chosen type, which will be creatures, cost white, blue, black, red, green less to play. So if Joda is in play with Morophon, then our human creature spells are going to be free. And that will allow for all kinds of casting shenanigans, particularly with some of the spells that we first introduced into this deck. So Kess is out because she's just not strong enough of a fit, and Joda is in. Okay, so Kess, take a back seat. You're good, Kess. I like you, Kess, but just not in this deck. And that leaves these 4 down here. So let's go to Taigam, the Ojutai Master. Taigam is going to pretty much suffer the same fate as Kess did. Taigam is good with instants, sorceries, and dragon spells. There are no dragon spells in this deck, and our instant and sorcery spells are few and far between. So unfortunately, Taigam, although he made the original cut, now that we're getting closer and closer to the completion of this deck list, I feel that his slot would be better dedicated to a card that would bring more power to the deck. And because of that, we are going to exile Taigam. So Taigam, you are out. I guess you guys can see where we're going with the next few, right? Shauna, Sisei's Legacy. She has a half hexproof. She can't be the target of abilities our opponents control. And she gets +1/+1 for each creature we control. She is legendary. However, she brings nothing to the team. She has no evasion. And in reflecting back upon her initial inclusion into the deck list, I think that was based upon her meeting the criteria of mana cost and being a legendary human. But now that we're closer to completing this deck list and trying to make this deck become, a veritable threat when we sit down at the table, putting Shauna out there in a non-token deck with very little evasion and very little synergy with what we're trying to do, it's just not going to work. So Shauna, you are out too, freeing up another deck slot. And these are the 2 that really hurt. Kari Zev, I'm a Ragavan fan. That guy is my boy right there. I love turning you sideways, Kari, and putting Ragavan in the play. He is my boy. But your menace is nice. Your first strike is okay. Your 1/3 body is not great. Ragavan most likely will die in every combat. And you don't offer much else to the team. So because of that, Kari Zev, as it breaks my heart to do so, because I am such a fan of yours, for this particular build, Kari, you are out. Which brings us to our last our last, weakest link moment. Hapatra, Vizier of Poisons. Very excellent commander to bring out of the command zone 4 or 5 times in the game. She gets into play early. She can start picking off dorks, creating some snakes. But if we draw this card during the late game, during the mid game, Hapatra doesn't do much if she doesn't get through with combat damage. She doesn't have evasion. She doesn't help out the team. And unfortunately, because of that, Hapatra, you are going the way of Kari Zev, and Taigam, and Kess, and Shauna. So with those 4 cards coming out of the deck list, that frees up the last of our spells for a total of around 14. We got around 14 more spells we can add to this deck before we install our land base. And these 14 spells should really focus on removal and ramp. And in so doing, as much as possible, with these ramp and with these removal spells, as much as possible, let's stay on a legendary theme. Let's see how much more legendary flavor we can add to this deck by inputting more legendary cards that have to do with removal and ramp. This is MTG Burgeoning, folks. and this is Sunday Fun Day with Legendary Human.